Alright everyone, how are you doing? I'm Lee and welcome to the channel. I know I really don't use this channel a lot. Sorry about that. This t-shirt, as you can tell, is massive on me. Bought it during my fat days. Anyway, what did I do that for? I know I don't really use this channel much because I rarely get time to film content for this channel, but when I do, you know it's going to be about the film industry. Now, this video is about screenwriting. And since I'm going to an event, a writer's workshop, this Sunday, the 6th of March, at New Enterprise Studios in Sunderland, I thought, why not make a video discussing how I got into screenwriting? So, here it is. Believe it or not, I never wanted to write. Well, I did, I just didn't want to screenwrite. So, basically, 14-year-old me, just imagine me, with a little less facial hair, even though I've shaved, in practically the same face, just maybe a little bit chubbier, who knows. I've been told I look the same. Anyway, I would write stories, poems, songs, and I used to like writing. And I used to be like, yes, I want to be a writer as well as an actor. But the thought of screenwriting, for some reason, just, I don't know, it kind of made us think, I can't do that. I always used to think that is something I can't do, because I thought it'd be too difficult. Because really, I hadn't really seen a proper screenplay. I'd only seen a stage play, if you want to be technical about it, a theatre script. They're the only ones I was used to working with, because I also only used to do theatre back then. Didn't really get a look at a proper, it's like, script. If I can find it, I will put a picture in. And if I can't find it, then I'm sorry, of the first proper screenplay I received as an actor to learn. And yeah, and I don't know why, but even the thought of writing theatre, even though I hadn't some kind of idea of something like that, it never occurred to us. Like, I always used to think, how the hell do you do that? Because writing stories, I would say they're mainly kind of short stories or stuff I says, oh, I'd like to turn this into a book. I had loads of ideas, like I think some of the good ideas that I had, which, you know, to be fair, would work well as a short film. I had in English class, more particularly English literature. English literature. I swear to God, my accent or my voice just betrays me sometimes. And I used to love, even in primary school, I would say this is where my love of writing started, primary school. We had to do some writing assessment, okay, I think. I'm going back to 2005. I'm going back to 2005 here. I was in year 5. I would have been 8 years old, 9 years old. And we had to write. It was spread over these lessons, and it was like write a story or something. In the 3 lessons, I wrote I think it was like a 3-4 page kind of medieval fantasy story, which my teacher actually said was great. I was going to say good, she said great. She said she loved reading every bit. And of course, on the last lesson, that got to me. I thought and this has been a problem with me, I would say, early on. The thought of an ending. I panicked and rushed the ending. So there was no big payoff. There was no big, ooh, what's going to happen? Big battle, big big payoff, like here's what you've been working up to. And he said, oh, went through some rocks, found him, fought a little, stabbed him, the end. She said she was let down by it. And I was like, damn it. And yes, I know, I am going back. I am going back nearly 20 years ago. And I can still remember that story. I've got a good memory like that. And I remember, like, on the very first computer I got, trying to, like, write. Oh, it was good times. But yeah, I wrote some good stuff in English literature and got told, you know, this is good. And I was like, I could never go to the writing. Never. And I tried, I think, when I was in 2012, I think I tried to write something and give up paging because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to set a scene. I don't know any basis at all of what I am physically doing. And so I give up. And then I was like, oh, I want to try my hand at writing a play. And that failed miserably. I remember this conversation I had with one of my English teachers. I would say it was my GCSE one. I remember having this conversation with her because I had her for, I think, 2 years. I had her from 2010 to early 2012 when I left school. I left school about May-ish, but I had to go back in June and July periodically to do my exams. It was weird how it worked. So, yeah, I remember having a conversation with her because, you know, she was one of my favourite teachers because I enjoyed her lessons so much. And I'm not going to say that my acting skill got me a better grade, but we did do this project about World War One, about having to do like a little two-man piece, duologue, about poems from World War One. And so it was my friend who would start reading the part of a poem that was meant to be like, oh, hyping World War One up. And then my part was another poem that was like the seriousness of it. And we got grades based on that, which went towards to our final grade for that year. And don't want to toot my own horn here, but everybody got a C based on their performance, and I got a B. Because apparently I played dramatic well. And everybody was like, but miss, he is an actor, he knows what he's doing. I was just like, oh God, I'm actually better at people at something. Never went to my head. I was just like, next lesson. I was like, yeah, back to normal. But yeah, I remember having a conversation with her because her daughter wanted to be an actor. And she was telling us she went to uni for it and everything. But during uni, she realised she didn't want to be in front of the camera. She wanted to be behind it. So she said she got into screenwriting. And I just remember hearing that and thinking, wow, that will never happen to me. I even said that, wow, I thought that is never going to happen to me. I am never going to give it up. Which, you want to be truthful, I haven't given it up. I still want to be an actor. I filmed a music video last night at the New Enterprise Studios in Sunderland for the brilliant band, local band, Axels. I will tag their YouTube and Twitter down below so you can go check them out. And stay tuned for the music video for the song, which I'm in. Yeah, I've always loved acting. But for some reason I thought if you want to be a screenwriter, you had to give it up. Well, obviously now I know that is not the case. There's plenty of actors who write stuff and still act. I mean, flaming heck, Ricky Gervais, you know, he writes most of his stuff, doesn't he? But I know he wrote Afterlife. Don't know about The Office or anything. I know he directed it. I know he directs stuff. I didn't know that until recently, that he directed the stuff. I was like, wow. Like, good on him. Jeez. But yeah, even like when I was reading about actors who used to be like, what was her name? You know, apparently the one who played Matilda, when she quit acting, she became a writer. Like, screenwriter, I've heard as well. And I was just like, oh, I couldn't do that. Even though I'd been writing, and I do realise the skill to write a novel and the skill to screenwrite and write for theatre are two complete different, skills. Because in novels, you get a lot more freedom to describe, the scene, to set it. You get a lot more freedom to describe it. But in screenwriting, you've got, 3 lines is the normal for the slug line, 3 lines. You can separate into 3 lines and 3 lines, but mainly you want 3 lines. But like having 3 lines and start a new paragraph, slug line of 3 lines, yeah, that's normal. That's something I didn't realise until, when did I start writing? 2018, when I looked back at a short film I wrote and wondered why no festivals had accepted it. And then I remember getting a book called The Complete Course of Screenwriting by Teach Yourself. And it's saying, 3 lines is what people look for. Any more than that, they'll give you a bit of leeway, you can go 4 lines if you But it was like only like experienced people who are known in the industry can get away with writing about 6, 7, 8, 9 lines in that. And I looked at a see if I can find it on me spare phone as I talk. I can't because I deleted everything off there. I put a picture in. Yeah. That will be getting revised. I don't know when, because I'm currently working on a TV pilot script that, maybe in 2023 I'll start trying to get it sent out. I don't know. I'll probably have to try and write a few episodes. Film a teaser for it, Basically do what my friend Lola's doing with her series Monday Blues. Again, Twitter will be linked below. Which I'm, I think the official title on that show is Script Supervisor. So anyway, the first kind of writing I did for a performance was when I was in 6th form. And this was in about late 2012 when I left school, joined the 6th form. And it was a theatre show that we were going to do for our performance arts exam. And it was about marriage in 2 different cultures. And the group who wrote, so it was me and about 4 or 5 other people, our job was to create the show for the other group, and vice versa, they had to create for our group. So I had to write, the traditional Catholic kind of church wedding, and for theirs, ours would have been like an Indian, I think, wedding, or a Hindu wedding. I can't remember which one it was, going back 10 years ago now. And I remember writing and just getting these ideas, kind of, writing. We had like a script to work off so we could see how it's formatted. And I remember writing it, I think like 2, 3 pages, and them all saying how good it was, how they really liked it. And I was like, oh, wow. And I think that's kind of the little spark that kind of ignited something that was like, maybe we should try writing, screenwriting, theatre writing. Maybe we should try that. Fast forward, I dropped out of 6th form in 2013. At least I stayed for the end of year show that the year 13s were putting on, that me as a year 12 performed in as one of the main characters. It was Moulin Rouge, but we had to call it Spectacular Spectacular, because at that point, Moulin Rouge hadn't become a stage show yet, and it hadn't had theatre rights. So we called it Spectacular Spectacular and edited it a bit to make it a bit different from the film. And I was Howard Zidler. So I knew I wanted to drop out, but I was like, I can't leave them in the lurch. So I completed this, and then I dropped out. Then I went to Gated College in the September. I went to the open day in July 2013. In there, I met my friends who, gotta say, 2013 to 2015, 2 of the best years of my life, can I just say that? And I drew from a lot of experiences in my writing from those 2 years. And we came up with this production company, Psychic Spirit Productions. If you want, I will clip. If you want to go check out the previous video, because I've already done this before. If you want to go check out my Dark Forest story origin to pre-production video, then I've commented the monologue that I'm talking about, the little video we did talking about Psychic Spirit Productions back in 2013 is in the comments of that video. I'll just, what the hell, I'll clip it in the description. Why be lazy? And we were going to do, like I mentioned in that video, going to create like a web series of 2 episodes for the story, 2 episodes for my friend's story. I was working on a story which would end up to be Dark Forest, which is in post-production. It's in editing. They've got a basic cut, I think. They just need to add a little bit more effects to have the final cut. And yeah, I basically, would you know it, 10 years later, I was script supervisor on my friend's script, who was going to be the first story we shot. Like, I was editing stuff out that I thought, we don't really need this. I think it'd be good if we added stuff here, you know. As well as writing Dark Forest, getting ideas down. Of course, obviously, that fell through. We never went on to do it. And Dark Forest got put away until 2017. But around then, I did start to think, well, I've got an idea for a play. And at the time, I was a member of the West Roving Theatre Society in South Shields. And I thought, well, they're a theatre. I'm a member. I'm sure I can talk to them and get me play put on. And I remember sitting writing down, and to this day, I wrote 1 page, and I just didn't know how to write theatre. I didn't know how to write, and I was like, I don't know what to do. But it was around this time when I was talking to my friends about, you know, what I'd done, when I'd wrote the performance. And my friend Mel says, well, why not try Celtics? I was like, what is the Celtics you speak of? She says she wrote her school play using Celtics, saying, you know, it tells you it's the older formatting. And, you know, to be fair, a lot of people who start writing, screenwriting in theatre use Celtics as their first kind of software, like a formatting software. So I got on my phone, didn't know how to use it, and I just left it. And the idea of screenwriting never left me brain. I always used to think, all the way through college, like, I kind of want to write something. That was the main thing. I want to write something. I will try and write. And I never did. Never even tried it. Until, you know, I came across Dark Forest and says, you know what? I need to start, well, no. It was 2017 when, yeah, it was 2017 when I started screenwriting, when I'd been cast in a film, a feature film, Star Warriors, which actually, I should do this now. Link below, it'll be the main link. The fundraiser, the Indiegogo for Dark, I'm so used to saying Dark Forest. There's an Indiegogo for Star Warrior, the feature film I shot back in 2017. And basically, the director has put £10,000 of his own money into editing, into getting the film, all put together. But now we're on the lookout for distributors and to get the film basically out there for everybody to see. And we need funds to actually, do that, to get it looking perfect. If we need any reshoots, we need that money. But what we really want is to get it out there, get it at festivals, get it at distributors, get it seen to. So if you can, spare £1 or what, I'll put the Indiegogo, it'll be the first one there, okay? And it was during the filming of that, I was getting ideas the week before of what would be the first kind of bit of film I would start writing. And it was called The Summoning. And it was about these group of teenagers who play this kind of spirit game. The sat in a circle, they do a chant, knock once for yes, twice for no, can you tell us my future? And the demon haunts them down and kills them, and you have to try and figure out how to stop it. Basically, have you seen the film Ouija? Because I kind of got the idea from that. I kind of want to make my own film based on Ouija, but based on a haunted game. That never got wrote. That never got finished. Because I got some bad luck after, the next year, a few months later. I got some really bad luck, which lasted months. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to write about demons. I said, it's too risky. So I still have the files in me Celtics bin. So I might look at that at some point in the future, or I might not. I might send it out to somewhere and be like, here, just give us a story by credit. And then I found Dark Forest. And then it goes on. I've wrote a few short films. Currently writing a TV show. Well, the pilot. When I get the pilot done, and then when I'm done the pilot, because I'm taking a break from Dark Forest, I'm writing a feature film for Dark Forest. It's just I'm stuck a bit at the end because I'm on 66 pages. But the way I'm going, I feel like I'm going to finish too early. I think if I finish, I'm going to finish at about 75 pages now. I wanted to get at about 80 pages because that's kind of the minimum. Even though, there are films that are less than, 1 hour and 20 and all that, but it kind of got us stuck. So I just want to finish it at 75 pages, 80 pages. Then I'll do the rewrite. But I want to finish the TV show idea. Because this TV show idea I've had since 2015. That was one of them that was always in my brain. So yeah, that is just kind of a ramble of 24 minutes of how I got into screenwriting. And quickly to finish up, some tips. Did I say finish up? To finish off some writing tips. If you're ever stuck like I am, work backwards. That's always a good tip. Work backwards. If you know how it's going to end, just think, okay, the ending. How do we get here? What happens the scene before? What happens the scene before that? So for Dark Forest, how does Emily end up facing the vampire one-on-one? It's like, well, okay. Matthew, she was with Matthew, so must be in a fight. Okay, the vampire Matthew fight. That'll be that. But how did Matthew and Matthew get there? Well, I know they were running there, so I guess they would have ran away. Okay, they were running away. What happened before that? Work backwards. Always work with the 3-act rule. That will help you. Stay in the limit. So Act 1 is the setup. Introduce the characters. You can even introduce the villain and introduce kind of what's the film going to be about. You know, for Act 1 of Dark Forest, the feature film, we see the every single character who was going to be in this film, we meet in Act 1. It's setting up the camping trip. It's setting up the Watcher's plan. It's setting up the Watcher's eventual kind of overall idea. It's setting up the two, I'll say accomplices. It's setting up their, you know, psychotic attitude towards everything. And yeah, after that, into Act 2. Now, Act 2 is where your main story takes place. So stuff happens. Some conflict can arise. You know? So for Act 2 in Dark Forest, I would say the main conflict is when they go to the camping trip and they find the vampire. Well, they find the coffin. And that is when everything goes to hell, because then everybody's panicking, and then the vampire gets awakened, and then everything kicks off, which leads us into Act 3. Now, Act 3 is where it's the big finale. It's the big ending. Everything comes to a close. All the little storylines, the main storyline, I can put it better than storyline. Oh, damn it. There's a name for it, and I'm going to kick myself. Because it is... Come on, Lee. You rehearsed this video, and you had it. Objection and super objection. So, in each scene, there's an objection. What to do. But for the whole film, there's this big super objection to get from A to B. So, say it's a line. This is a super objection. That's Act 1, that's Act 2, that's Act 3. And all these little points are just objections to get to the super objection. It can be explained better, but my brain can't figure it out how to say it. So in Romeo and Juliet, Romeo's super objection is to find love, because that's all he wants. But he has to go through different objections, like, you know, meet Juliet, protect Juliet, rebel against his family, find out if Juliet's okay, that kind of thing. I think that explains it a bit better. And yeah, Act 3 kicks off into the finale. The conflict hits the fan. Everything goes down, leading to the end. Now, there's a certain page limit I've heard and I've read that screenplays, especially feature films, should be. And it goes, Act 1 should be 20 pages. Act 2 should be 40 pages, and Act 3 should be 20 pages to get you to 80. Now, obviously, page numbers can change, and depending on kind of the genre, the page numbers will very, very much, you know, be different. You could have some screenplays where Act 1's 40 pages, Act 2 is 60 pages, and Act 3 is 30 pages. But that's a long film, and that's a lot of film. But it all depends, you know. I was working with Act 1 being 20, Act 2 being 40, and Act 3 being 20, but I made a bit of a mistake, a continuity mistake, we'll call it, on Act 1. So I had to go back and rewrite a load of it. And so now my Act 1 is about 25 to 30 pages. And yeah, I know I need to do a lot of rewrites, but you know what? I'm fine with that. As long as I say I've completed a feature film script, I will be happy. It's just I've been suffering from so much burnout, panicking about it, rushing myself into completing it, that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So that's why I started writing the TV pilot for this idea that I've had since I was in college. And when I wrote the first I was writing, I wrote 10 pages in under an hour, because I got my creativity back, I got my spark back, I got my passion back, because I was burnt out from waking up every morning to going to bed, looking at the script and thinking, worrying, panicking myself. And writing this has just been the release I need. So I can't wait to get back in the dark forest. Just, you know what, I'm going to write it. I don't care how many page numbers it is, as long as I know I've wrote something I can be proud of. And then I can go back, do draft 2, and there. And that should be another lesson. A one that I didn't think I needed, but realised, you know, I do. Draft 1. You might think draft 1 is the best. You might think you've wrote nothing like it before. But let me tell you, always draft. Always rewrite. Always take another look. Because no matter how perfect you think it is, just look it over. I would say, with every script you write, have at least a third draft. Look over it at least another 2 times to be like, you know what, can I change anything? Can I make anything better? Because I tell you something, Dark Forest, even though it went through 2 production companies, and to be fair, the second production company landed on Dead Real Films, they blew it out the park with what happened. Like, thinking back now, if it went to anybody else, they wouldn't have done better. They wouldn't have done any better. I didn't draft. I wrote Dark Forest, the short film, draft 1, sent it out to, well, I didn't send it out. I got asked, can I read your script, by a director who I'd worked with in the past as an actor, who had just started a new company. And I said, yeah, I'll send it over. He says, great, I want to make it. Do I have your permission? Yes, of course, go ahead. And then I think with him, I did, I think 3 different drafts of Dark Forest before he was happy. And I was like, okay. And then that fell through. Dead Real, the guys who I had knew longer than that director. You know, I've honestly known these guys, Dead Real since 2015. And they are really good people. And I think with Dead Real, it went through 4 different drafts. So yeah, Dark Forest probably went through 7 drafts before it got to what it was when we filmed it. So always draft. No matter how perfect it might be, always reread it, because I guarantee you'll probably think of something else. Anyway guys, I've rambled on long enough. Nearly 34 minutes. I've been Lee. Have a nice day.